everyone. So it's loud. I'm gonna probably try and vlog, but I am gonna go have breakfast at this restaurant called La Cubana. I really love what I think is authentic Cuban food. So I'm gonna do that. It opens in about 15 minutes, but that's cool because it's so nice outside. That means I get 15 minutes to read more of Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia. So far, I'm really enjoying this book. There's a really loud truck right there, so you probably can't even hear anything. So I will just leave it there and say that I will show you my breakfast when it comes. So breakfast was amazing. It's all inside me. And I've just been enjoying sitting here and thinking and just letting my mind wander, so that's been really good. Sister Sci-Fi, which you should know about, and I'll put something either here or there, probably here, because there's more negative space right here, right here, right here. So Sister Sci-Fi is, it's a movement, it is an online bookstore, it is powerhoused by Isis, who is one of the 3 leaders of solar power. There's Isis, myself, and Chloe, who has the booktube channel Thistle and Verse. And Sister Sci-Fi does book events, live and online book events, every so often in different cities in the US. And so today in Oakland, they're going to be having a discussion of Midnight Robber by Nalo Hopkinson. You know, Nalo Hopkinson is my favorite author. So I think I am going to find a way to tune in and participate in the discussion, which means I need to get to a quiet location in half an hour. So I hope that I'll be able to do that, and that I'll be able to somehow find a way to show you what's happening. I don't know. So I just finished participating in Sister Sci-Fi's reading group in Oakland. So Isis is amazing, and she got an amazing group of people together, very smart, beautiful, intelligent, well-read folks to talk about Midnight Robber by Nalo Hopkinson. So I'm going to put a link to Sister Sci-Fi in the description, because Sister Sci-Fi is also a source of purchasing books. So if you want to get any of the books that she's selling in her online store, you should definitely buy it as an alternative to certain places like Amazon, for example. And also, if she doesn't carry any of the books that you're interested in, you can ask her to provide them, and that's another way to support businesses owned by Black folks. So I am going to, what am I going to do now? I'm going to do a little bit of work and see y'all later. It's now word on the street. I'm not really sure where I'm going, but I am going to do something fun tonight because it's Saturday night in Toronto. So yes, we shall see. Here's some B-roll. Toronto Financial Central District, Saturday night. I am very much losing light, so I am probably not going to be able to vlog unless I'm indoors, but I wanted to give you an update on Space Opera September. So I've read 2 books. The first book that I read was The Heaviness of Knowing by Cherylin Brown, and I really enjoyed it. It takes place in there are 2 settings. So on one hand, it takes place on Earth, and we encounter the plot through the point of view of Lauren, who is a tech savvy designer, I think is what we would call her. And she works in this high-tech company that has been trying to develop this microchip for a few years, and it's on the verge of a breakthrough. And then on the other hand, we're following Roxelle, who lives on another planet, and she is a traveler, and her job is to connect with one particular person on Earth and try to, through their dreams, and try to persuade them to do certain things. So we just get a sense of how their stories kind of interconnect. And it's the first of a trilogy, and it was good. And then I also read the erotic space opera novella called Ascension, and it tells the story of, I believe, it was hard to understand, so 2 warring alien races that are trying to infiltrate Earth. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, so I have finished 2 of the 4 books I plan to read in September. So I think because both of them were written by Black women, and both of them involve Black women, I think I am now on the rebel track, but I don't know what I am yet. I think I'm on the rebel track though, and I'm something cool, so we will figure that out. Maybe I'll put a picture here of what I am. Okay, I think I've decided to go to one of my favorite pubs, which is a Harry Potter inspired pub where I can get this really nice drink that they light on fire. So I'm gonna find an Uber and get there, and maybe I will show you some images of that. And then after that, who knows? Just kind of film, not you,
Okay.
unless you want to be a rock star.
I don't know about all that. From here though? Nice place. From here?
Yeah, me too. I'm at the bar. Okay, so you really need to see things to appreciate them, so I'm gonna give you a sense of what you can see at the bar. This is one of my favorite drinks, and it's called Better Beer. Hey everyone, it's Sunday morning, and I am in an Uber headed to Word on the Street, which is an annual literary festival that takes place in Toronto at the Harbourfront Centre. So I I'm not sure how long I'll be able to stay there today, but I know that I want to see my friend, excellent writer and also writing instructor Whitney French, who's going to be speaking on a panel about speculative fiction, I believe. So I'm going to definitely support her. I haven't told her that I will be going. So I'm looking forward to that experience. I will hopefully be able to film a little bit of the panel on my phone because I haven't brought my vlogging camera, and also a little bit of the marketplace. I really like going to the marketplace because it gives me an opportunity to buy from the publishers and to talk to the writers themselves, get a few signed copies and such. So my focus, of course, is speculative fiction and science fiction, and so I hope to be exposed to some new Canadian work.
Real quick, because I'm feeling the spirit. I'm feeling spiritual. I'm feeling the spirit, and I have to mention the work of Nerbasi Phillips, who revolutionized the way that I understand writing. I understand poetry. I understand the subtleties of being a Black person, reconciling with the idea of how do you describe what was the transatlantic slave trade, right? So if people have not read her, please read Nerbasi Phillips and read Zong for sure. And another like Black queer writer who I have like the honor and the privilege of knowing is Makeda Silvera, who started Sister Vision Press, which was a Black lesbian-led like publishing company in 1989 to 2001-ish. Yep. My days might be off, but that is so crucial and so important and such a huge part of what we are here for. Like, how come, you know, those stories and those legacies, how come we are not like hearing about that more frequently and more often? She also wrote an amazing essay that made me think about what you were speaking to, and it's like there's a village in my head, I believe it is, and it's a story of a Black queer woman writer coming to the page and trying to write for this conference and then putting aside parts of herself, and there's a village in her head telling her, you need to speak for us, you need to speak for us, you need to speak for us. So by all means, it's so important for us to read the work, to study the work, to reread the work, to pass it on to other people. Also to say, I haven't read this person, please let me know what would you read. Thank you so much for that invitation to talk about like the writers who need that shine. Go ahead and ask, really preface it other than to say I had a conversation with my grandmother. And do folks know about like the Maroons of Jamaica? Okay.
Yes.
Or Haiti. Or Haiti, yes, thank you.
Yes.
There's always a Haitian in the audience, you know? So my grandmother just recently told me that we possibly have Maroon heritage. A bang blows through trees on top mountains, my body a horn in this nanny continuum. I slip between times, legs hanging from a fire escape on this land of my birth, but is not my own land. Limbs heavy with compromise, but cells can still remember how to ambush a white man if I need to, with nothing more than intelligence and leaves a machete and providence. Slip a cutlass and tongue rebellion, but shh. Listen to she Obia woman teach me how to repel bullets like the old time ways. Where portals full of ether and water and salt and sweat were wide open, we would slice our enemies wide open and burn down everything that they built. I slip between times when I know we ain't free, since emancipation is state sanctioned, since they gaze still on me, since all my Black babes ain't safe, since there are no mountains to hide in the stretch of land that is not my land. No folklore can save the gun down. Is it too cold to fly? Obia gets stiff up in this country. I slip between times, and on the ridge between brother-sister rebellion, my granny tells me that nanny heritage is in my veins. Is why I love fire so. Is why they call me a walk boat. Been on lookout for centuries, ribbons of ash spiral as we burn up everything that they built, even if we help build it too. And time slips away from us both.
Yeah.
So, why is that book important?
This book is important because it continues a conversation about anthologies and the way that Black writers have entry into publication through anthology. It's also important for me on a personal level, as it's my first time editing at a professional scale of Black writers, and I really want to continue that legacy. I really want to continue to edit the works of Black writers who don't always have access to publishing spaces. It's fun. I try to do like a little Black fist.
Yes, nice.
Yay!
No, but I want you to, if you could say that point again, because I think it's important. I was at a book club, so Sister Sci-Fi, I'm not sure if you're, yes, so she had a book club in Oakland, book club meeting yesterday in Oakland, and they were talking about Midnight Robber by Nalo Hopkinson, which is amazing. You've read it a couple times.
Yes.
And yeah, so one of the people in the club was asking about short stories, and I thought, you know, there's a lot of really cool anthologies that are out right now, and as I just mentioned to you, I never really thought of anthologies or short story collections or poetry collections as a way to get new writers into the industry.
Definitely, and I think specifically for racialized and even more so for Black writers, like sometimes it's the first time they've ever been published in a professional capacity. So it's beyond like, oh, I wrote something and I receive a check. It's like I wrote something and then my work is living among like not just like other writers, but emerging and established writers.
Yeah.
Even the fact my first publication was in an anthology called The Great Black North, and like that book has everybody in there in terms of Black Canadian poetry and culture, and that was super exciting because at the launches you actually get to meet people who you look up to or people who you're writing to and writing for, and through that it can jumpstart a career.
Yeah. It was really nice to see you sitting beside George Eliot Clark, but also doing it as equals. It felt to me like it wasn't a, oh my God, can I get some airtime? But you held your own in a way that I didn't expect anything less. But I just feel like that's a really nice sign to emerging writers and also readers that you don't have to wait until you're, I don't know how old he is, but you don't have to wait until you're 60 or until you're considered a poet laureate or any of those things in order to have something really valuable to contribute.
Oh, for sure.
So that was really nice to see. I'm looking forward to reading
and
this.
even that, like, I'm also just thinking about the, like, being a writer and the craft and the writing and the work in and of itself. Like, poet laureate is great, you know, teaching at university is great, all of these other things are fantastic, but like, for me, what's super important is if we can hold the work side by side and have a conversation.
Yes.
See, like, the way that they, like, not just the writers having a conversation, but how the work is speaking to each other.
Okay. So in this work, so you edited it, so you don't have a work in there.
I have an introduction.
You have an introduction. Okay. So this is Black Writers Matter, and tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So Black Writers Matter is a collection of creative nonfiction essays. Most of them are personal essays.
Okay.
So you won't find like a whole lot of academic. And for me,
Which I love.
yes.
I love that I won't find a whole bunch of it there because I'm done reading that kind of stuff. And it's usually inaccessible.
And I did that intentionally because I am actually, and I know that the theorists and the academics do have their place and it's important.
Yeah.
But me, on a personal level, I'm actually tired of people theorizing Black life and Black experience.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about people living it and sharing those stories and those narratives, and also challenging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And where should we buy it?
You can buy them at your local bookstore. If you're in Toronto, there are copies at Type Books, copies at Another Story bookstore, a different book list. Most small presses, small bookstores do have them in other places. In Montreal, for sure, at Racines. I think I'm saying that right? Racines. Yeah, it's a Black-owned bookstore. Very, very important to support.
In Montreal.
In Montreal.
Okay.
And there's another really small bookstore in Vancouver, and the name escapes me, but they're great. I can't remember what it is right now. And you can also get it, Amazon and Chapters and other places.
Yeah, I'm trying to support smaller bookstores because it's just so easy to get stuff online, and it's not that hard to buy things locally.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
stop monopolizing your time now.
No, this is great.
Okay. So I've been at the festival for about an hour, and it's been really cool. Actually, it's been incredibly hot. But a couple of things. First of all, while I really enjoy being at literary festivals, I've had the benefit of going to so many of them in the US and also in Europe, and I can't help but notice just off the bat how white this festival is. I've gone to a number of different authors and I've asked them, or actually a number of different publishers, and I've asked them if they have books written by Black folks, children's literature, science fiction, anything, and the answer has often been no. The only exception was a small publisher out of Montreal, and they had some great magazines and some awesome swag, so I spent a lot of money at that table because their current magazine, their current edition of Articulation is featuring Black trans authors, so that's pretty cool.
Articulation is a biannual arts and culture publication based out of Montreal. We aim to spotlight marginalized voices across Canada, and each issue which comes out, our issues come out twice a year, and each issue focuses on a different theme. Our most recent issue, the Here and Now double issue, aims to spotlight stories around contemporary queer identities. Dimatir Casendo did our cover a few issues ago.
I really like it.
They're an illustrator based out of Montreal. And our latest cover is done by King, who is a non-binary illustrator and musician in Montreal. And our latest issue also features work by Sloast, who is a queer street artist in Montreal.
And that's a picture of?
This is a picture of Marsha P. Johnson. Our latest issue is looking at 50 years since the Stonewall riots in New York City, and especially spotlighting Black trans activists who have been doing work for decades and really have not received enough attention.
Thanks. But I think I also had this weird experience where I asked this publisher if they had any children's books geared toward Black kids, and he's like, no, we don't have any, and we don't have any books with Black protagonists, but we do have a book with a brown protagonist, and that's kind of the same, right? And I'm like, okay, so this is the issue that we're sort of dealing with. So it's been interesting to be here. It's been nice seeing the people milling around buying books. It's been really nice seeing the activities for young folks. But I have to say that, ooh, this light was so much better. I should have done this. But I have to say that it was a bit of a disappointment. So I hope that you enjoy some of the clips that I've got. I am going to go to a food truck and try and get something to eat, and then we will figure out what happens next. Bye.